प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय। श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। सबको जय सीताराम। A very warm, cordial welcome is extended to those of you who are here with us at the Krishna Mandir on this wonderful, very beautiful Sunday morning with us face to face as we engage in puja, as we engage in satsang. For those of our brothers and sisters who are viewing us online, Shubh Swagatam, let us welcome you this morning wherever you may be. Those of you who are joining with us from this beautiful Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are joining with us regionally, and the many, many devotees who join with us from various parts of the globe in North America and other places. We welcome you this morning to Satsang. It is indeed wonderful that we have the opportunity to come together to offer ourselves and to offer our devotion and our love to Bhagwan, to seek His continued guidance and inspiration regardless of our situation and whatever challenges and difficulties we may be faced with at this point in time. We trust and we have that Shraddha that Bhagwan indeed would alleviate all of those difficulties. This morning, therefore, as we begin with invocation, I invite everyone to please stand, to gaze at the murtis before us, to gaze at that smiling, compassionate face of Bhagwan. And as we do so, let us close our eyes, these windows to this physical world, and go within. And as we contemplate the omniscience and omnipotence of Bhagwan, let us indeed offer ourselves to Him in prayer. Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswate Namaha. Om Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvara Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Mandir Jagat Guru Nagindraharaya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaragaya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandramabhedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaye Pataye Namaha. Om Manojavam Marutatulyabhegyam Jetindriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanadyutamukam Shri Ramadutam Shri Shri Namami. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Bhetiye, resume your seats. Let us join together now in Kirtan as we glorify Bhagwan's name. Let us sing, let us clap, and let us indeed immerse ourselves in His glory.
Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai 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 Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati. गणपति जय जय गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरि मणि मुकुटन नयन रत्नारे लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरि मणि मुकुट नयन रत्नारे गजमणि माल गले बिच सोहे गजमणि माल गले बिच सोहे माल लला में चंद्रकलानी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय मोदक लेप तीत जननी जब ठुमक छलक नूपुर झनकारे मोदक लेप तीत जननी जब ठुमक छलक नूपुर झनकारे रिद्धि सिद्धि दो चवर दुलावत रिद्धि सिद्धि दो चवर दुलावत सुर समूह लखी होत सुखारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारी गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. As we've been doing now for the past couple Sundays, and as we approach that wonderful celebration of Mahashivratri, this morning we join together as we glorify Shankar Bhagwan. We gaze at his form, we gaze at his representation also in the form of the lingam. And as we prepare ourselves physically, as we prepare ourselves mentally for that celebration, which will take place on the 28th of February, and you will all be invited about the format of our celebration on that occasion. Let us join together now as we render these 40 verses, the Shiv Chalisa, as we glorify Shankar Bhagwan.
जय गणेश गिरिजा सुवन मंगल मूल सुजान कहत अयोध्या दास तुम देहु अभय वरदान हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर जय गिरिजापति दीन दयाला सदा करत संतन प्रतिपाला बाल चंद्रमा सोहतनी के कानन कुंडल नागफनी के अंग गौर शिर गंग बहाई मुंड माल तन क्षण अगलाई वस्त्र काल बागंबर सोहे छवि को देख नाग मुनि मोहे हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर मैं नमा तुगी ओ विदुलारी वाम अंग सोहत छवि न्यारी गए त्रिशूल सोहत छवि भारी करत सदा शत्रुन छेहारी गंदी गणेश सुहेता कैसे सागर मध्य कमल है जैसे कार्तिक श्याम और गणराव या छवि को कड़ी जात नखाओ हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर देवन जब ही जाए पुकारा तब ही दुख प्रभु आप निवारा किया उपद्रव तारक भाई देवन सब मिले तुम ही जुहारी तुरंत सदन आप पठायो लवणी मेष महामारी गिरायो आप जलंधर असुर संहारा सुयश तुम्हारे विदित संसारा हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर त्रिपुरासुर सन युद्ध मचाई सब ही कृपा कर लीन बचाई किया तपहि भागीरथ भारी पूर्व प्रतिज्ञाता सुपुरारी धनी न महान तुम सब कोई नाही सेवक स्तुति करत सदाई वेद नाम महिमा तब गाई अखत अनादि भेद नहीं पाई हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम त्रिपुरासुर मये विहारा कीन दया तह थारी सहाई नीलकंठ तब नाम कहाई पूजन रामचंद्र जब कीन्हा जीत के लंक विभीषण दीन्हा सहस कमल में हो रहे धारी कीन्ह परीक्षा तब ही पुरारी हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर एक कमल प्रभु राखियो जोई कमल नयन पूजन चह सोई कठिन भक्ति देखी प्रभु शंकर भय प्रसन्न चितवर जय 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 अनंत अविनाशी करत कृपा सबकी घरवासी दुष्ट सकल नित मोहि सतावे भ्रमरित रहि मुहि चैन नावे हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर त्राहि त्राहि रे नाथ पुकारो यही अवसर मोहि आन उबारो लय त्रिशूल शत्रुन को मारो संकट से मोहि आन उबारो मात पिता भ्राता सब होई संकट में पूजन नहीं कोई स्वामी एक है आस तुम्हारी आय हरहु अब संकट भारी हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर गति निर्धन को देत सदाई जो कोई जाचे सो फल पाई स्तुति कही विधि करूं तुम्हारी क्षमा नाथ अब चूक हमारी शंकर हो संकट की नाशन विघ्न विनाशन मंगल कारण योगी अति मुनि ध्यान लगाए शारद नारद शीश नमावे हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर नमो नमो जय नमो शिवाय सूर्य ब्रह्मादिक पार न पाया जो यह पात करे मन लाई तापर होते शंभु सहाई दिया जो कोई वो अधिकारी पात करे सो पावन हारी पुत्रहीन कर इच्छा कोई निश्चय शिव प्रसाद से कोई हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर पंडित त्रयोदशी जो कोई लावे ध्यान पूर्वक होम करावे त्रयोदशी व्रत करे हमेशा नहीं दागे रगे कलेशा धूप दीप वेद चढ़ावे शंकर सन्मुख बात सुनावे जन्म जन्म के पाप नसावे अंत वास शिवपुर में पावे कहन अयोध्या आस तुम्हारी जान सकल दुख हरहु हमारी जय 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 त्रिपुरारी आए हैं हम शरण तुम्हारी हर हर जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर 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 जय शंकर ओम हर हर नित्य नेम करि प्रातहि पात करे चालीस तुम मेरी मानो कामना पूर्ण करो जगदीश मत्सर च्युति ही मंत्र तो सन्मत चौसठ स्तुति चालीसा शिव ही पूर्ण की न कल्याण
प्रेम से बोलिए महापति महादेव की जय। Jai Sitaram, everyone. A very warm welcome is extended to those persons who came in shortly after we began this morning. And to all persons who have joined with us now online, viewing us either on YouTube or on Facebook, we extend a very, very warm, very cordial welcome. And for those of you who may also view the satsang and our Sunday morning service. Later on during the course of the week, as I know many of you do, we also extend a very warm welcome to you, to the Krishna Mandir of 43rd Street, San Fernando. This morning, join with me as we extend collectively our condolences to a very beloved individual, not only of the Mandir and of the community, but indeed of this country, and I speak of none other than Pandit Atma Maharaj. Panditji, unfortunately, lost his Mataji, his mom, on Friday. She passed very peacefully, and at the Mandir, I know many, many devotees have a very close bond and a very close relationship with Pandit Atma and his extended family. So we want to wish Bhagwanji's blessings. May Lord Krishna bless the Atma of that beautiful, beautiful individual. May Lord Krishna provide that strength to her children, to her grandchildren, to her great-grandchildren, her extended family, and all persons. Indeed, her journey has now changed from this physical journey to another journey. And with the blessings of Bhagwan, that journey, we pray, will be uneventful, will be very serene and very blissful. So we pray this morning for the blessings on that Atma. Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Krishnai Govindai Namo Namaha. By extension of prayers and our condolences to all persons who may have suffered loss. There are many persons who we know that have passed in manner sometimes which is very untimely, and their family members and loved ones are really yearning for that support and that comfort. And whatever prayer, whatever assistance we can offer at this time for anybody here who is in touch with family members or you yourselves in a similar situation, let us do what we can to, at least in some small way, alleviate that difficult time. This morning, and that is the dichotomy of this life. Sometimes we are faced with things that are steeped in what we would call sorrow, and at the same time we are steeped with those things that we regard as celebratory or joyful. And this morning I want to, on that note, firstly extend belatedly very, very happy anniversary greetings to a very wonderful couple in this Mandir. I speak of none other than our chairman, Mr. Maldi Maharaj, and his very, very beautiful Dulhan, Renuka ji. So they celebrated their wedding anniversary on Thursday gone. So we want to extend very hearty congratulations to them. Please join with me in a round of applause. Also to a very devoted member of the Mandir, Uncle Lachman, will be celebrating his birthday upcoming, and we want to extend birthday greetings to him. I know he's preparing for very puja this morning, so that's why he's not here. He was here with us last week. So Uncle G, I know if you're looking on, happy birthday to you as you make your preparations. And then finally, I want to extend hearty congratulations to our youngsters of the Mandir. This week, many of you may or may not have known the merit list, as they would say, from the CSEC and CAPE examinations that were conducted. That is the top performers, not in Trinidad and Tobago, but Caribbean-wide. That was published this week, and we have some students from the Mandir who were placed on that merit list, and I want to extend very hearty congratulations to them. Permit me, please, for singling out Yogita Brijlal, Pat's daughter, who placed on the merit list of physics at the CSEC level, and please also permit me for singling out, I think Vrishni placed on the list as well. We want to extend congratulations to Vrishni Maharaj. We know young Ajneesh Mohip, as his parents are very involved with classes. Ajneesh from Rana and Suzanne, their son, he placed as well. So we want to extend congratulations to music. And I also want to extend very, very hearty congratulations to my daughter Vandana. She placed first in the performing arts module, as well as in French. She merited there as well. So we really want to extend congratulations to these young people for the excellent work. So as I said, we have in this life many things that we are sometimes faced with that cause us pain and some measure of discomfort and suffering. But at the same time, we have so many things that we need to look at and celebrate in a very real way. And having life, which all of us here, I'm sure, have. Yes, that's why we're here. Because if we didn't have life, we wouldn't be here, unless I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing. So having life is indeed a wonderful gift. And we must always give thanks to God for that. The little things that we sometimes take for granted, that we become so accustomed to. It is only when they're gone or removed that we actually recognize that, that absence. So in terms of relationships and persons and our own ability to do certain things, we must always give thanks to that. And in that vein, that power to discriminate between, yes, things that may not go right and things that may go well, but to maintain that sense of equipoise. And that is the key thing. That regardless of the turbulence of the things that may draw us to and fro our mind, and we always remember that Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean, symbolically it is really telling us about our own mind and the turmoils that we face on a day-to-day basis. What do we do to maintain that even keel, that balance in the midst of that? And this is where Saraswati Mata's blessings become very important. Very, very, very important. And this Saturday coming, which leads me to what I'm going to speak about this morning very briefly. Saturday coming, as I'm sure we're all aware, is, no, not cricket, Basant Panchami, right? So it is the celebration of Saraswati Mata, and it is a very wonderful time indeed. Persons would be dressed and adorned in yellow. They would pay obeisance to their teachers, and they would indeed give thanks to Saraswati Mata. Sometimes we have the misconception, well, Saraswati Mata equals children or students, and they are the ones that really should be offering that kind of puja and that prayer, but that's not so. While it is important indeed for children to recognize that aspect of God and the various proponents of that, we should all be mindful that Saraswati Mata's blessings are very important for all of us indeed. And Saturday is Basant Panchami. It is the fifth lunar day in the bright fortnight of the month of Magh, the Shukla Paksh, as it is said, and that is the occasion that is used to celebrate Basant Panchami, and that falls this Saturday. And to mark the occasion, there are many things that are done, but one of the things that we've been doing in the Mandir is puja, and that will be continued this Saturday. So I want to extend a very cordial invitation to everyone, obviously maintaining our protocols that we have been adhering to at the Mandir, to join with us in puja on Saturday. Because of the obvious effects of the pandemic, which we must never forget, we must always continue, as we've been doing, to be mindful about the things that we ought to do. The format of the puja will be individuals and families performing their own puja. So if as an individual you wish to come and perform your puja, then you're free to do so, you're welcome to do so. If as a family grouping you want to perform your puja, then you're welcome to do so as well. And what we will be doing is everybody will have or will bring their individual bedi. It could take the format of a very small pirha or something. It doesn't have to be as large as this one here, obviously, something small. And the list of items are being posted via email. So I think an email was sent out, and it's being posted online this morning. So those of you who are looking on and would wish to join, you can do so. So very quickly I will run through the list. So persons sometimes say, Panditji, I can't see the screen, you know. So no problem. We're helping in that regard as well. So we're catering not only for the visual, but the auditory as well. So obviously a small bedi and your Hawan Kund, because Hawan will be performed. Murtis of Ganesh Ji and Saraswati Mata. If you don't have, then Supari will be fine. And we will, or pictures, if you have pictures, is fine. You want to bring some, obviously, flowers, doob grass, mango leaves, neem leaves, tulsi leaves, pan leaves. Okay, so basic. If you have those, so run through all of the leaves. All right, so pan leaves, doob grass, neem leaves, mango leaves, tulsi leaves, and so on, flowers. Lota, 1 lota with water, and you will make your make the mango leaf, and you will have it in there in terms of being able to use that leaf for the offering of gel and offering of water and so on. 2 thalis, one with that you prepare to perform your arti, so you'll have your diya prepared in that with your flowers and so on. Kalsa and para if you have one. Yes, if not, then don't make it an obstacle. Obviously, one of the key things we sometimes forget, matches. And sometimes when you have to light the diya, oh gosh, I don't find the matches. So remember the matches or a lighter if you have one. Hardi, sindoor, essence, agarbatti, supari, clove and so on. So all of the things you could get from what you would call a puja parcel at the puja store. So you go to the puja store and say, Behin, Didi, hi, I'm performing puja, and they give you the puja parcel, and it has basically everything that you would need in that, including cotton and so on, a little bit of chandan, some coins that you would want, an offering of cloth, bastra, that you would make to Saraswati Mata, and a cloth that you would obviously spread over your bedi, and one that you will sit on for your asan. In addition to that, you want some washed and dried white rice, and sun-dried white rice is the best kind of drying methodology, as a private joke between me and the pujari. So wash the white rice and dry it ahead of time, and a little bit of brown sugar as well. For your hawan kund, you want some mango wood. Try to avoid the pitch pine, it tends to smoke up too much. Ghee and a little katori or container with a spoon, and your hawan samagri that you will offer. And obviously you will have prepared your prasad to Saraswati Mata. If you want to have a separate offering for Ganeshji, by all means, please do so. Those are the things. A little bit of dahi if you can have. If not, no problem. So whatever of those ingredients you can put together, please do so. If you do not have, because you are in a location, as I know some of our onlookers are, where those things are not accessible, then a murti of Saraswati Mata and your love is all that is required. Even if you don't have the murti, you could view online and you would see the murti or icon of Saraswati Mata. So let us all seize the opportunity, because life has to go on, notwithstanding the pandemic. You know, many of us in the early days thought, okay, I'll wait for things to get better and for things to go back as they were used to. And I think we have solidly planted ourselves in a position where we recognize that not going to happen. So we need to be able to live life in a very careful but a very effective way, and make sure that we do those things that protect us, protect those around us, but still allow us that opportunity of continuing with what we have to do. And so this is the rationale for performing the puja, and to allowing all of us the opportunity to perform puja if we so desire. So it will be this Saturday. We're inviting you to come for 4 o'clock. So arrive at 4. It gives you enough time to set up all of the things that you have to, and then we will commence puja at 4:30. For those of you who know me, when I say 4:30, we start in at 4:30. So please don't be like some of my students in the classroom, where you're coming in 10 minutes after or 15 minutes after and so on. So come for 4. So we could start punctually at 4:30. That's the way in which I like to operate. I value your time, and I value my time, and I value everybody's time. So we're going to be on time, all the time, every time. So that's what we're doing in terms of celebration of Saraswati Mata Puja, Basant Panchami. And it's very important. And this morning we will speak a little bit about that before we go into the RT and invite persons to come forward. Again, just to cover the announcement so I don't have to repeat it. Religious calendars are on sale, so you can see our chairman after service, or Gangadin, or any of the gentlemen or folks at the back, to acquire your copy for yourselves or your family members. Also, yoga classes will be resuming tomorrow under the guidance of our very, very esteemed teacher, Sri Maldevji, and that will be from 5 p.m. Yes? 5:30 p.m. Upstairs of the annex. So please, those of you who are students or would like to join, a very wonderful class, 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. And again, all COVID protocols are being observed while that is taking place. So if you know, for example, you're matching with your outfit and your yoga mat, make sure your mask also matches so that you can, just kidding. So we have all of the yoga classes starting tomorrow. And as we go on, we will continue to roll out those classes and those programs. Look out for our format for Mahashivratri, which will take place on the 28th of February. That's Monday, the 28th of February. We will advise about that. So let's sit upright for a moment as we contemplate, gaze at the Murti of Saraswati Mata, and let us contemplate her form. She's bedecked in white. She holds in her hand the Spartik Mala. She holds in her hand copies of the Vedas. She sits on that Vahan, the swan, and she holds the Veena that promotes harmony, that Veena that promotes that sense of calmness. And we pray to her, O Devi Ma, you are that manifestation of things good, pure, positive, noble. You are that divine power of discrimination that will allow us to choose between that path which is desirable and to discard that path and those decisions which are undesirable. We ask you to influence our mind, O Ma, in a positive way. We invite you to influence our persona and our power of discrimination. Let us submerge ourselves in your divine grace. Hari Om. Om Aim Saraswate Namaha. Ya Kunda Indu Tushadhara Davala. Ya Shubhra Vastra Britam. Ya Veena Varadanda Mandita Gara. Ya Shveta Padmasanam. Ya Brahma Jutta Shankara Prabhriti Deve Sada Vandita. Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jadhyapaha. Om Saraswati Namo Nityam Bhadrakali Namo Namaha. Veda Vidanta Vedanga Vidinasare Bhaivacha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Saraswati Mata, that aspect of Bhagwan, that aspect of that supreme Brahm, that our rishis and munis have prescribed and ascribed this form. So as I invited us at the beginning, and we look at her form, she's bedecked in white. As was said, she sits on this swan that has that ability to extract water and milk mixed together, to extract one from the other. She holds in her hands the Vedas, the Spartik Mala, that crystal mala, and she holds in her hand that veena, that musical instrument. Very often, our children in particular, and devotees at large, when confronted with the various manifestations of that one God, Ekam Sat, truth is one, God is one, but different manifestations. And when they look at the various manifestations, they're sometimes confused. Sometimes the aspersion is cast on Sanatanists to say, oh, you follow a polytheistic religion, that you have so many gods. That is the aspersion. Sometimes the very simple response is, well, so what? That shows the fact that Bhagwan is not limited in any way. But more than that, really, the various manifestations of that one God are meant for our benefit. They're meant for our benefit. And the classic example that I use, especially for children, I would tell them, I'd say, listen, you know your mother and father, yes? Yes, Panditji, we know them. I said, and you would call them mom or dad or mataji or ma or pa. Nowadays we hear things like pops and all kinds of things. I totally do not like to hear. And thank God in our tradition that is not the norm. Children calling their parents by their first name. But that is the norm in many developed countries. But we must never follow that kind of norm. Have that level of respect. So you as a child know your mother as Ma, but your mother was somebody's daughter. Yeah? And they would not have called her Ma, they would have called her Beti or daughter or something like that. She would be somebody's sister. Again, the name, the reference, the relationship would be different. She would be somebody's spouse. Again, the way in which you would refer to them is different. So in the same way, using that very simple analogy, our relationship with God is different depending upon our station in life, our circumstance in life, and what our needs and our desires are at a particular point in time. And so our rishis and munis have made it so easy for us because of that. So when we pray to Saraswati Mata every day, each day, but particularly on Saturday, we are praying to God. That's the first thing. But that relationship that we are having, we are asking for many things and to develop those qualities that are desirable in our lives. And let's think about what are some of the qualities that we would want to have in our lives. We would want to be truthful. We would want to be compassionate and kind. We would want to be empathetic. We would want to be noble persons. We would want to be those persons who are peaceful, who are calm. We would want to be those persons who others like to enjoy being with. We would want to be persons of value. Yes? That's what we all want in this life. Those are higher order qualities. Those are higher order qualities. And so in order to get to that, we must of course satisfy certain basic tendencies and qualities and desires that we need. So we must all have food. You ever wonder why part of our tradition, when you have puja and so on, you make sure, even if it is something very little, you share something, food, you distribute some sort of thing in that regard. You always told about the giving of food and nadan. We always told about that. Because our rishis and munis recognize that that basic thing is required. You ever notice when you're doing puja, one of the things you offer is vastradan, clothing, because that's another basic element we need to have. Shelter, clothing, food. And once those basic needs are satisfied, then the higher order things become relevant and important. You can't teach a hungry man about religion. Can't do it because his mind is distracted. Think about your own self. If people tell you, you have to do puja 6 o'clock in the evening. And you have to fast for the whole day. When I say fast, no salt, no food. By the time 10 o'clock in the morning reach, unless that's the time you get up, but assuming not, the belly grumbling. By the time 12 o'clock reach, you're faint, you want to fall down. Right? You're not thinking about puja. Yes? So we must satisfy those basic needs before our higher level purposes come in, and that's where Saraswati Mata comes in. Higher level purpose in order to achieve those desirable qualities. Saraswati Mata influences us even when we don't know it, either positively or sometimes negatively. We want examples, we want evidence. Look at Ramcharitmanas. Very, very common example, but something sometimes we need to be reminded about. If Sri Ram was coronated as the king of Ayodhya, then he would remain in Ayodhya and Ravan would remain perpetrating all of the havoc that he was doing on the rishis and munis. He would not have brought into confrontation. He would have still been the king of Lanka. He would have wrought havoc on all things dharmic. If Sri Ram had been crowned as the king of Ayodhya at the point in time when his Pitaji, Raja Dashrath, wanted it to happen. But the Devatas recognized that ought not to happen because then his purpose, his Leela, would not be fulfilled. So what did they do? They prayed to Saraswati Mata that she should come and influence somebody so that chain of events would occur. And what happened? She influenced who? Mantra. And by that power of speech that Mantra possessed as a result of Saraswati Mata being present, by that power of persuasion, she was able to persuade none other than Kekai Mata. You know, sometimes we lose sight of the fact and we think, oh, she's so evil and she's so wicked and whatever. But Kekai Mata was an instrument used in order to fulfill a purpose. Yes? And that was through the intervention of Saraswati Mata. So Saraswati Mata allows us, when we pray to God, that power to be able to have that sense of speech and communication. And in our lives, that power to communicate with each other and one another is very, very critical. Think about our own selves. That if we are not able to say and to communicate with a person in any relationship, think about yourself as an employee, a worker, which we all are, and you're not able to communicate effectively with your fellow workers, or you're not able to communicate effectively with persons who work under you, or the one we worry the most about, we're not able to communicate effectively with our boss. We have problems in the workplace. In a more personal level in the home, if we are not able to communicate with our spouse, if our spouse is not able to communicate with us, if as children we are not able to communicate with our parents, and alas, as children, as parents, if we are not able to communicate with our children, think about the stress, the anxiety, the breakdown that takes place in the home. Think about leaders who cannot communicate effectively with the persons that they are custodians or responsible to. Think about that. So, that power of communication, and that power of communication is not only verbal. Sometimes we make that mistake and think, you know what, I must be able to speak well. Not so. You must have that purity of thought and the ability to communicate well. There's a difference. And communication is not only verbal. Communication could be in writing. I know, for example, for us older persons, the new mode of communication is the text language. And what all the emojis mean. And when you type in caps and when you type in commas, and my wife and I tell our children, we don't know that, you know. So sometimes they say, Mom, Dad, how you could type it like that? You know what that means? We're like, no. We don't know what that means. We just send in a message. But there's a new method of communication. Yes? Communication is also by your body language. Your body language. And sometimes husbands listen carefully, you know. Right, good? Your dulhan's body language is the most important tool of communication. So if you walk through that door late and you see a dulhan with a bilna in she hand, that is body language. It's not roti she making it. Just joking. I remember once somebody gave me a very powerful bit of advice, which I tried to imbibe and I will share. I've said it before. That sometimes what is important to listen for is what somebody is not saying. What is important to listen for is what somebody is not saying. And that's where you have active listening and active communication. We get that blessing from Saraswati Mata. So she gives us the ability to have that. I'm seeing it's 9:25, so I need to end. So this Saturday, and indeed every day, when we pray to Saraswati Mata, let us be reminded of those blessings. Let us ask her to give us that power of communication, that power of discrimination. And let us seek her blessing so that our whole persona in our lives, how we think, how we act, how we speak, all of those things would be blessed with that divinity. And then things will go very harmoniously. Prem se bole Shri Saraswati Mata ki jai. We'll have 3 bhajans. And while we have those 3 bhajans, I will invite you all, put on your gloves, maintain your social distancing, and engage in your arji at this point. So I invite you to come forward while the singers are getting their instruments in order. I invite you to come forward. This morning I want to extend thanks to Varun for joining with us, for Craig for once more being with us this morning, and indeed for our technical team for being with us and for allowing us to be online. And to all of you wonderful devotees for being here this morning. So please, again, maintain the physical distancing, put on the gloves, and come forward as you perform your archi.
जय जय श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री
सरस्वती माता
जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता
जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता
जय 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 श्री राधिका
श्री सरस्वती माता
प्रथम विनय में श्री गणेश को पूजे सरस्वती माँ को तीजे में बिनाओ तीन देव को जो यह सृष्टि चला सोते में बिनवो पांच सभी को ध्यान तुझे लगावे रामायण की अनुपम कहानी भवसागर पार करा रामायण की अनुपम कहानी भवसागर पार करा जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री रमा राधिका जय जय श्री सरस्वती माता श्री सरस्वती माता श्री सरस्वती माता
We join in reciting the mantras of the Linga Ashtakam. Brahma Murari Surarchit Lingam Nirmal Bhashit Shobhit Lingam Janma Jadukha Vinashak Lingam Tar Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Deva Muni Pranavachit Lingam Kamadaham Karuna Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Sarva Sugandhi Sulipitalingam Buddhi Vivardhana Karanilingam Siddha Surasura Vanditalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Kumkuma Lingam Pandajahani Sushobhitalingam Sanchita Papa Vinashanilingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Tat Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya
शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय अष्टदलोपरिवेष्टितलिङ्गं सर्वसमुद्भवकारणलिङ्गम् अष्टदरिद्रविनाशनलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय सुरगुरुसुरवर पूजितलिङ्गं सुरवरपूजितलिङ्गं परात् परं परमात्मकलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गं तत्प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय लिङ्गाष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमाप्नोति शिवेन सह मोदते इति शिवलिङ्गाष्टकं स्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम्।
This will now be our final bhajan before Aarti.
चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव चन्द्रकलाधर साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा शिव शम्भो महादेवा ॐ नमः शंभो महादेवा शंभो महादेवा शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा ओम नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमः 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 शंभो महादेवा शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा शिव शंभो महादेवा
We stand for Arti.
ओम जय जगदीश हरि स्वामी जय जगदीश हरि भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरि जो ध्यावे पल पावे दुख बिन से मन का स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का ओम जय जगदीश हरि मात पिता तुम मेरी शरण गहु किसकी स्वामी शरण गहु किसकी तुम बिन और न दूजा प्रभु बिन और न दूजा आश करो जिसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरि तन मन धन सब है तेरा स्वामी सब कुछ है तेरा तेरा तुझको अर्पण तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या लागे मेरा ओम जय जगदीश हरि ओम जय जगदीश हरि स्वामी जय जगदीश हरि भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरि ओम जय जगदीश हरि ओम जय जगदीश हरि
We clasp our hands, close our eyes, and bow heads in prayer. Oh Prabhu, we come before you this morning filled with our love for you. We ask for your continued blessings and that power to be able to discriminate between the pathway that draws us closer to you and that pathway that would lead us further from you. May we always be blessed with that inspiration to make the right choices. We pray for those persons who are ill, those persons who are feeling some sense of loss, those persons who have lost their loved ones. We pray for those families who are indeed impacted at this time of the pandemic and feeling that sense of difficulty and that sense of hardship. May you, O Prabhu, relieve all suffering. May you shower your blessings upon us all. For you are mother, you are father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We surrender ourselves completely to you. In one voice, brothers and sisters, we join together now in final prayer. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sika Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। प्रेम से बोले श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। Turn to those around you, सब कोई जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम। May Bhagwan bless you all. May you have a very powerful, very safe week ahead. And we look forward to seeing you with us on Saturday for Basant Panchami from 4 p.m. Remember, come at 4. Puja starts at 4:30. And again, to join with us next week Sunday from 8:30 a.m. for our satsang and our puja. Jai Sitaram, everybody.